friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. It is time for the monthly PR Roundup review on new makeup releases that I tried in the month of August. This was a much bigger month of new things than I expected. I don't know how I acquired all this stuff. I'm very grateful. I'm thankful that I got to try new things for you, but just sit back, get a snack. This is probably gonna be a longer video. I say this in every video. I know it's repetitive, but just in case you're new, I'm not in any way trying to be braggy. I'm very thankful for the things I get. I'm so thankful that I still have the opportunity to try so many new things, even though I'm not really buying makeup right now just because of life situations, and makeup cannot be a financial priority for me right now. I am so thankful and I do not take it for granted at all. I'm glad I get to try these things out and test them out and give you my thoughts on them. You guys seem very encouraging and understanding about that, but I just want to throw it out there that I'm just so eternally grateful. Before we hop into it, I did film this look, of course. I was feeling some Halloween vibes today. I filmed it for IGTV. It should already be up on my Instagram by the time this video is going up, and my plugs are from Love Kills Boutique, and I cannot remember where this little pumpkin choker is from. I think I got this shirt from Target years ago, but I'm not certain about that either, but I'm sure someone will ask me. Anyway, with all that being said, let's just hop into it and chat about the products that I got sent and I tried out in the month of August. Let's talk about Pixi first. This is the Summer Glow Palette Sheer Sunshine face palette. This is essentially a bronzer and highlight palette. I really like this. I haven't used every single shade just because not all 9 of these are gonna suit me. I typically use the bottom 2 on the left or the top 2 on the right. Sometimes I'll dabble in that highlight in the center, but for the most part, that's kind of the area I stick to. I think these are beautiful. The powders blend really nice on the skin. The highlight shade is very bright, but still soft. It melts into the skin nicely. Overall, I'm very pleasantly pleased with this. I didn't expect to love this as much as I do when I first got it sent to me, but I've been using it nonstop this month and I think it's lovely. Next, we have this large lash mascara. I'm not a big mascara person. You guys know this. I always wear false lashes. My natural lashes are super straight and very short and very stubby. They do not hold a curl. They never look pretty, but I will say this one was nice. It doesn't transfer on my skin, which is a big thing for me. It's very black. And it makes my lashes look nice and separated. They're not necessarily pretty per se, but I don't blame that on the mascara because my lashes never look pretty. Overall, it checks the 2 boxes that I care about with mascara. It's super black and doesn't smudge, and that's literally all I care about. I also got this lip plumping gloss in the shade Sweet Nectar. I really like Pixi's gloss formula. I think it's lovely. I think the color's cute. However, this isn't really my color as we're entering the fall months. This would definitely be something I would gravitate more towards in the spring and summer. I will keep this around because I'm sure I'll like it again once I'm into that kind of vibe next spring or summer, or if I just get the urge to play with peaches this time of year. I'm not necessarily seasonal with my makeup. I'll wear whatever I want when I want, but I like the color, I like the formula, just not totally up my alley right this second. And last, I got sent these 2 Endless Shade Sticks. They are eyeshadow sticks. They are in the shades, let's see, Matte Cocoa for the brown and Copper Glaze for the more coppery one. Obviously, you can see they're still in the package. Shadow sticks are just not really my cup of tea. I don't ever reach for them. They're not my favorite. So I just decided not to open these and not touch them at all so I could give them to somebody in the future. So they will go off to a new home and be much happier without me. Next up, Nomad Cosmetics. We got the Orient Express palette this last month. It's super lovely. The packaging is super plushy to the touch. It's not my favorite because I feel like I'm gonna get it super dirty. It's already getting a little dingy, but it is nice as far as texture goes. The inside's really pretty. To me, this is a very holiday-esque palette. I could see really enjoying this in the winter when Christmas time is coming up. I could do beautiful red, blue, green looks. I think it would be lovely. There's also some really nice golds in here. For me, this is a great holiday palette. I'm totally gonna bust it out later in December. I did have fun with it over the month though. I created some really pretty looks. I had fun playing with it. Overall, a pretty solid palette. I like their matte formula. The shimmers in here are really pretty, especially this blue-purple duochrome. So lovely. What a beautiful shadow. I do have a discount code with Nomad. It's BeauteBean10 if you want to save 10%. It's not a commission code. I don't make any money off of that. But if you're interested in this palette or anything off their site, I do have a code for you that saves you some money. I do have a first impressions, a 2 looks 1 palette, and I believe an IGTV video with that palette if you want to see some looks. Next up, from OMFG Cosmetics, I got sent the Sugar and Sweets palette. Not my favorite packaging personally. It's just a little too, I don't know. I don't like the funky shape of it. It's not even the artwork that bothers me. I think the artwork's fine. It's just the shape is not really my cup of tea. But regardless, the inside is really cute. We have these nice pastel shades. I like that this isn't just a typical pastel rainbow palette. There's a little bit of a twist there with the darker brown and kind of that red shimmer. It's something a little different that we haven't really seen with pastel palettes. I did do a first impressions with this. I don't think I filmed anything else with this just yet, but I did play with it a couple times off camera as well. The shimmers are really pretty. They have a nice sheen to them. The mattes seem to blend out nice. I really liked what I've created with this palette. Overall, it's a pretty solid pastel palette. If this is your kind of color scheme and you're not sure what kind of pastel palette to go for, maybe this is the one for you. I think the quality is great. I don't have any real cons with this palette, honestly. I wouldn't say it's my favorite pastel palette. I'm pretty sure Creepy Cute from Shroud Cosmetics is always going to reign supreme for me, but it's still a very solid pastel palette, and maybe that's your perfect color story. Also from OMFG, they sent me over the Cotton Candy Pressed Highlight. It's this cute green, yellow, pink highlight. You could dip your brush into the specific colors, or you can mix them all together like I do. When you mix them all together, it kind of just makes a nice vanilla type shade. It's really pretty, very glitzy and shiny on the cheeks. I like the scent. Smells like cake and candy. It's really nice. I'm a fan of this highlight. I think it's really pretty. I actually wouldn't mind owning more highlights from them in the future. I'm going to have to keep my eye out and maybe pick one up one day, once I have money to spend on makeup. That is not a relevant thing right now. They also sent over some of their brushes. I think they only sent 3 off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's just these 3. They seem really nice. They blend out my shadows nicely. They pack shadow on the lid nicely. Overall, pretty solid brushes. I'm always down for good synthetic brushes because I personally don't use natural hair. I like these and I think they're cute. I like the little crystal effect in the handles. Next up, let's move on to Estaco. Estaco is a sister brand of Midas Cosmetics, and they have a lash subscription box. They send me their dramatic box once a month, and I have a lot of fun with it. They sent me the styles Ambitious, which I no longer have because I used them to death, but they were really pretty, very PC, very cute. And then they also sent me these styles Good, Good, and Inner Peace. These, honestly, I'm not really going to use. I think I'm going to keep these locked away so I can eventually give them to somebody else. They're just a little too much for me. And I like a big dramatic lash, but these ones don't really have a taper to them. They are just big, universally the same across, and that's just not really what flatters my eye shape the most. So I think I'd be better off just not messing with these this time and passing them along. Overall, I do like Estaco's lashes though. I think the quality is nice. Again, I don't use natural hair. I only use synthetic lashes, and it's nice to find good quality synthetic lashes. I always look forward to getting my box each month and seeing just what's in there, what am I going to get, which styles are going to be there. I don't expect all 3 styles to always be up my alley, so the fact that 2 out of the 3 are kind of a dud for me this month isn't the end of the world because I usually have nothing but success from them. And last from them, they also included from Midas Cosmetics the Sparkles Diamond Eye Pigment. I went to link this in a video that I used this in recently, and I couldn't find this on Midas Cosmetics site anymore, so I don't know if this sparkle shade in particular is discontinued or what, but I did like it. I thought it was pretty. I wouldn't mind trying more in the future. Again, it's not urgent, but I thought it was a nice formula. It wasn't overly messy to work with, which is surprising considering it's a loose pigment. And yeah, it was nice. I enjoyed it. Next up from Ace Beaute, I'm so thankful and got sent their new Nostalgia palette. This is the first thing I ever received from them, and I was so grateful. I love Ace Beaute. I think this is such a fun, I keep describing it as this end of summer palette. It's kind of the perfect transition from summer into fall looks. You can do very bright neon summer looks, but you can also tone it down and do really vampy fall red, orange, yellow looks. It's super pretty. I really like the tones in this palette. This is advertised as a new and improved formula, and while I did love Ace Beaute's original formula with my whole heart, I do find this one to be better. The mattes blend out even easier. I feel like I can get to my end result a bit quicker, and the shimmers are just a little more metallic. I think overall it's a really solid palette. I really like using Flower down here as a blush as well. I think it's very cute. Overall, very happy with this. I did do a first impressions and IGTV video, and I believe I used this in a get ready with me recently. It was like a new makeup get ready with me type video. So have some looks up for you. I had a lot of fun with this palette. I played with it quite a few times off camera as well. I think it's stunning. Next up with Colourpop, I have the Colourpop Candyland collaboration, the Colourpop Land collection. I was super excited to get sent this because it's just so nostalgic. I loved Candyland as a kid, and the fact that it came with a whole board game was just cherry on top. Such fun packaging. Not the most practical packaging in the world, but it definitely made me happy. I did do a whole video with this collection, by the way, if you want to see any of these products in action. I do have a code with Colourpop as well, by the way. It's 5BeauteBean. It's not affiliated at all. I don't make a commission. It just saves you $5 on, I believe, orders of 25 or more. Sometimes the codes don't work on certain releases, so you just have to try it and see if it works kind of deal. We have quite a few things in this collection. Let's start with the Candy Castle palette. It's not my favorite palette in the world, I'll be honest with you. It's a lot of those sequin shadows Colourpop seems to be doing a lot, where it's mattes with just sparkle in them. Literally 5 out of 10 shades in this palette are that sequin formula, and I wish they would just do mattes or shimmers. I really don't like the sequin formula. The sparkle doesn't stick around enough for me to classify it as like sparkly on the eyes, but it also doesn't dust away completely for me to use it as a matte. I still do use them as mattes, but I don't know. It's just not my favorite formula. Some people like it. It's not my cup of tea. We have 3 mattes and 2 beautiful shimmers. I really like the shimmers in this palette, and the mattes performed really nicely. However, it's not very inclusive in my opinion. I feel like anyone much darker than me isn't going to have the best time with this palette. It's very pale, very pastel. There should have been a little more depth, a little more pigment to it than just what they gave us here. Overall, not my favorite palette from Colourpop. It wasn't the worst palette I've ever used in my life, but it's just not my favorite either. We have these cute blushes. I love that they had Super Shock cheeks in this collection. I really like this cheek formula. It's kind of creamy, but you can use it as a powder as well. I really like them. I think they're great. We have the shade Jolly, which is kind of like more of a warm, neutral pink color. It's very cute. I've definitely reached for this one the most, I believe. Gumdrop Pass is more of a cool-toned, mauve-y purple kind of color. Haven't reached for this one quite as much. It's just not totally my favorite thing to wear on the cheeks, but it's still very cute. And we have Gummy More, which is a little bit warmer, almost a little more frostier of a pink. This one almost can be worn as a highlight in my opinion, especially if you're darker than me. They also all smell like gummies, and it's very nice. I'm happy with these blushes. I think they're quite cute. From Fourth Ray Beauty, technically, we have these 3 face milks from the collection. We have the coconut scent, the papaya scent, and the watermelon scent. Out of the 3, I think the papaya is my favorite. I'm really liking that smell, but I honestly cycle through all 3 of these. My favorite times to wear these are either if I film and then I take my makeup off, but it's not necessarily nighttime to do my nighttime skincare routine. I'll throw one of those on just to give my face a little bit of moisture. Or I wear these if I did my morning skincare routine and then many hours later I finally go to film and I feel like I just need a little bit of a refresher, I'll throw one of those on as well. I think they're nice. They feel really good and nourishing in my skin. I don't really think I need more than these 3 right now, so if they send me more, I'm just gonna have a surplus of them because I think those are gonna last me a really long time, but I do enjoy them. I wouldn't mind having more when I run out. I'm going in such a weird order with this collection, I'm so sorry, but next we have the Queen Frostine Powder Puff Highlight. Yes, Pixi Puff Highlight. I can't even remember the name. I liked the look of this when I used it in my video, however I haven't used it since because it's so messy. I get sparkle everywhere. It's a whole thing. It's a beautiful color. I really like the formula. It's just quite a mess. Every time you open this canister up, powder flies everywhere. So I like wanna love it because it's a beautiful shade. It's just messy. Maybe I'll use it again one day. If it sits around for long enough though, I'll probably end up giving it to a friend. That or I'll just use it as decoration because it is really cute. And I do like this little puff. It worked nice for just kind of dusting on my shoulders. Not that that's something I care about doing very often, but it was fun for the experience. And last we have some lip products. We have these glowing lip balms to start with. First we have the shade Let's Chill, which is kind of a rosier pink. All of these are insanely sheer. The color doesn't show up that intensely in my opinion. I do notice a difference with each color, but not so much so that I feel like it's urgent to have all of them. Let's Chill I believe is the one that I've been reaching for the most, but I've been cycling through all of them just because I really like lip balms right now and I think this formula is really nice and hydrating. The next one is Mr. Mint, which is a little bit peachier, also super cute. I really like it. They feel good. I mean, I can't really say much about a lip balm. They feel nice on my lips and that's all I really look for. And last we have Peppermint, which is just a lighter pink. Again, doesn't look that much different than the other 2. They're all very sheer on the lips, but they're nice. They're nice little lip balms. They feel good and they give a nice little glow. Not so much a glossy finish, but just like a hydrated glowy finish, if that makes sense. So sorry I keep dropping things. I'm sure my camera is picking up every sound that I keep making. And last from the Colourpop collection, we have this Princess Lolly Roller Gloss. This is really cute. I like the sensation of using the roller gloss. It feels feels nice. I don't reach for this very often because this one in particular is just a clear gloss, and I do have other clear glosses I prefer over this, ones that have more of a plumping effect, or just in general I like the finish a little bit better. This isn't bad by any means, but it's just not my favorite gloss in the world. The packaging is more cute than anything. Alright, next up I got a decent sized package from e.l.f. and I have quite a few things to share with you. First are these facial oil mists. They're infused with essential oils and they smell lovely. They sent me the flavors, I guess, scents, whatever you want to call it, energizing, restoring, and soothing. I really like these. I don't really use these as a makeup item. I use them a little bit more as skincare. I like to use the energizing one during the day when I don't know, I just want a little bit of a refresher. I like the citrus scent. It kind of wakes me up a little bit. To an extent, I don't really believe in essential oils. I don't believe they really do much for me, but I like the smells and I try to just pair these during certain times of the day. The soothing one I really enjoy at night, right before bed. The restoring one I haven't used too much. I think I've only used this one once or twice. It could just be because it's my least favorite scent. It's rose oil, which is odd because I do love rose. The soothing one is neroli oil. I've actually never heard of that, so that's cool. I don't know. I don't know why I don't use the restoring one more. I need to because I don't mind the scent. It must just be my least favorite of the three. Overall, they're fine. Again, I haven't paired these with makeup, so I can't say they work good as a setting spray or anything like that, but they do work nice as like a skincare spray. I'm here for it for that. It's kind of an unnecessary step in my opinion. It's not really something I would have gone out of my way to purchase as that step, but I'm happy to have it and use it right now. They also sent me this Stay All Night Micro Fine Setting Mist. I'll be honest, I didn't use this one. You can see it's still sealed up. I have a lot of setting sprays right now. I really don't need a new one, so I decided I would just keep this one sealed and give it to someone in the future because I don't need another setting spray. I try to be realistic about the things that I receive. If I know it's not something I'm going to reach for very much or something I'm super interested in trying out, I try to just pass it along to someone else. I don't need everything. Next, I got sent some of the bite-sized face duos. These are super cute. I'm really happy I had the opportunity to try some of these out. The first one is the shade Cantaloupe. The light peachy melony blush is so cute. It's not the most pigmented on my cheeks, but it leaves enough of a glow that it's nice. I say glow, not really glow, more of a hue is what I meant. These ones are matte blushes. And the highlight in here is super pretty. It's the only highlight out of these three that works as a highlight on myself. But with that being said, I don't think this blush would work on people much darker than myself as well. Next, I have the shade Pomegranate here. It's a really pretty rosy pinky blush. It's super, super cute. Again, I can't use the highlight as a highlight shade on me. It's a bit too deep, but I do like the blush. The formula blends out really nice. I feel like I don't have an issue with it being overly pigmented or underwhelming as well. It sits nicely. I really like it. And last we have Spiced Apple, which might be my favorite of the three. I really like this blush shade, very fall appropriate. I'm sure I'll be using it a lot with these upcoming months. It's super, super pretty. I love a warm, almost terracotta blush. I think it's really cute. I'm here for it. Moving on to eyes, I have some of these liquid glitter shadows from e.l.f. These are beautiful. When I first got them, I was just kind of like, okay, cool, I'll try them. Whatever, but I like them a lot more than I thought I was going to. They're so insanely sparkly and glitzy and beautiful on the lids, but yet they remain pretty smooth. I don't feel like it feels like I have chunky glitter all across my lid. It's really nice. I wear these before work sometimes if I want my eyes to look cute, but I don't want to put in more effort than that. I'll just do kind of a wing with those shadows and throw on some lashes and call it a day. They're very sparkly. They bounce nicely in the light. I don't know, these might be some of my favorite liquid glitter shadows I've used thus far. We have the shade Mermaid Shimmy, which is a really pretty, almost minty green color. It's very cute. I think this one's my favorite of the three, actually. Next, we have Pinky Swear, just a really nice pinky, almost rose gold kind of color. Very glam. This would go beautiful with any neutral looks, of course. And finally, we have Purple Rain. This one's also beautiful. I think this is my second favorite, if not tied for first place with that green one. It's such a lovely purple color. I really, really like it. I also like how teeny tiny they are. They're not overly large and obnoxious. They're very compact. I have a skincare item to talk about. These are the Super Brighten Peel Pads with brightening alpha hydroxy acids. You're supposed to use these after cleansing. Just wipe a pad across your face and it's supposed to help exfoliate and brighten your skin. I'll be honest, I keep forgetting to use these more often than I probably should. I've only been using these maybe once or twice a week on a good week. I probably should be using these like every other day is what my goal should be. I haven't noticed anything negative, but I also haven't really noticed anything overly positive. It's just kind of been the same, but I think that's on me because I haven't really been using these that much. I need to be smart and put this like right next to my sink in the bathroom. Right now it's on a shelf that I thought I would remember to reach for, but clearly I don't. So as of right now, I'm neutral on these. If I remember to use them more and I decide I love them, they'll end up being in a favorites video. If not, just assume that I don't care about them and they're just not doing much for me. Moving on to lips, I have two more things that I actually did not open because I decided these aren't really something I'm gonna keep reaching for. But these are the Sheer Slick lipsticks, and I'm all about a slippy, creamy lipstick. I think it feels nice. I just personally don't love these colors, and especially this black cherry one, which is a beautiful shade as it would appear in the box. I don't like this kind of color in a slippy formula. I would prefer this color in a matte. And then this golden pear shade, these kind of tones don't always look great on my skin, and I figured I didn't want to risk it. I would just save it for somebody else in the future. The formula sounds nice. I like the idea of it. These just aren't really my kinds of colors for it. And finally, we have 4 lip balms. These are the Ride or Die lip balms. I really like these. I keep one in my filming room, I keep one by my bed, and I keep the other 2 in the bathroom. I really like these. They all have a different scent, a different kind of flavor to them. I don't recommend eating them. They don't taste great, but they do smell nice on the lips, and they give my lips a nice treatment. These are a bit thicker than those Colourpop lip balms that I mentioned. I like to use these just more, I don't know, more as a heavy duty lip balm, if that makes sense, especially before bed or before work when I'm wearing a mask for 8 or 9 or 10 hours. We have the shade Boss Berry, which does have a pink tint to it, but it's not super opaque unless you really loaded it up. It has a nice berry scent. We have Just Peachy, which, you guessed it, has a peachy tint and also smells of peach slightly. We have Mighty Mint, which is clear and it just has a nice minty sensation. I really like this one in the morning specifically. It just makes me feel, I don't know, ready for the day. And finally, we have Tough Cookie, which has more of like a brown neutrally kind of tint to it, and this one, as you would assume, kind of smells like cookies. Not overwhelmingly so, not a sickly sweet vanilla kind of scent, which I love, but not everybody does. It's a little more tame. Overall, I like them. I never pick them up for the color themselves because, again, they're very sheer. I just keep certain ones in my different parts of my house and use them as I see fit. Next up from Juno and Co, I got these SpongeBob sponges. As you can see, I haven't used them yet. I'm not convinced I want to because they're really cute. I love that they have SpongeBob and Patrick's face on them, and the little plankton ones are adorable. I did take out the bubble cleanser to clean my sponges. I didn't bring it with me because it's dirty and it's in my bathroom. It's being used, but it's working nicely. I will say that. It cleans my sponge great. I'll probably use those sponges eventually, but I do have some other sponges from Juno and Co that I'm working through right now. If it gets to the point where I run completely out of them and those are my only option, you better believe I'm going to use them. I'm not just going to keep them sitting around. But for right now, they're not going to be used because they're cute, but I'm sure I'll use them eventually. I personally love Juno & Co sponges. I'm a microfiber sponge kind of person. I think it applies my makeup really nicely, and I never have issues when I use those sponges. So I've been switched for about a year or more now, and I just love them. Next up, from Spoiled Lips Cosmetics, I got sent the Dear Diary palette, and yes, it is another pastel palette. You'd be correct. I did do a first impressions with this. I don't think I've filmed with it yet. I did use it one other time off camera, so I have only used it twice, full disclosure, but I did have a great time with it both times. I feel like the shadows are pigmented enough where they pack enough punch where I don't have to dip in a million times, but they still manage to stay muted and pastel. But there's also certain shadows that have a layer of depth to them that I really like. I feel like I'm able to create those shadows and that dimension with this palette without having to dip into something else while it's still remaining overall pastel. I don't know, they did a really good job with this palette. I really like this particular formula from Spoiled Lips. I found that the palettes that have the little lip protruding out of it, those tend to be really nice. This palette has mostly mattes, a pressed glitter, which I don't love. I wish that wasn't there, and 2 shimmers, which are beautiful. They're very duochrome, very cute, very, I don't know, they look kind of glossy on the eyes. I had a really good time with this. I think it's really pretty. Again, not my favorite pastel palette in my collection. Creepy Cute reigns supreme, but I could see this definitely going up there. It's really nice. I want to play with this one some more. They also included their Crybaby eyeliner. It's a felt tip eyeliner pen. It works nice. It's very black. It didn't transfer throughout the days that I used it. I had a good time with it. I like a felt tip liner. This one works great for me. Can't really say much more than that. It either works or it doesn't. All right, are you guys still with me? I know we've been here a while. This is a lot of information. Next up, I got sent the 3 Muse palettes from Dido Cosmetics. I've already done first impressions with all 3 of these. I know that my 2 Instagram videos with the Aphrodite and Athena are already up, and I will be uploading my Hera one as soon as I can. I'll play with these quite a few times with you. I've played with each of these once off camera, I believe. So yeah, I've played with these about 3 times each. Let's just break it down palette by palette. This is the Aphrodite palette. The inside looks like this. It's kind of like a muted rainbow is how I would describe this one. Overall, this palette is pretty nice. I feel like the mattes blend good. The shimmers are pretty. There are some sequin shadows in here where it's those mattes with glitter in them. Each of these palettes also have a pressed glitter in that, which is not my favorite. My only issue with this palette really is this light purple is pretty much a dud. It just like doesn't really have that pigmentation, and when you try to build it up, it just doesn't really work. So that shade's kind of a dud. This is honestly my least favorite of the bunch just because it's not my favorite color story, and also just with that issue with the purple, it just became my least favorite. But overall, it's not a bad palette. It's just that shade kind of sucks. Next, we have the Athena palette. I think this is my favorite of the three. I love the grungy murky greens in here. It's so, so lovely. I feel like this is a good transitioning into fall palette. Again, has those same kind of formulas, the mattes, the shimmers, the sequins, the one pressed glitter. I wish the glitter wasn't there, but overall I really do like this palette. I had a great time playing with it. I'm sure I will continue to pick it up as I see fit. I think it's lovely. Also, not to mention the artwork on all of these is beautiful. This is the Hera palette. This is such a beautiful kind of primary colors palette. You have those beautiful pops of blue, those rich reds, that pop of yellow. I think this is super cute. It's very fun to play with. I feel very artistic playing with this one. I feel like I have to be a little more creative and feeling more dramatic and vampy. I like this one a lot. I think it's very, very cute. I'm having fun with this palette. Honestly, I had fun with all of those palettes. With that light purple aside, I'm really enjoying them. I think the formula is nice. Not my favorite eyeshadow formula I've ever used, but I think it works great. I don't really have issues with blending or pigmentation or anything like that. So yeah. There you have it. All right, next we are getting into KVD Vegan Beauty. I got sent quite a large package from them, so I'm gonna try to be as concise with this as possible. Whew, I literally don't even know where to begin. Let's just start with the one that I'm holding. This is the Lock-It Translucent Setting Powder. I still like my Milk Makeup Blur Setting Powder more. I feel like that one just lets my glowy product shine through a bit more and just meshes into my skin a little bit nicer. However, this one, like, I do like it a lot. I don't feel like it makes my skin look cakey. It is a bit more mattifying, which isn't my favorite thing, but it does do the job. It sets my under eyes nicely. I don't feel cakey when I use this. I do like this one a lot. I'm sure I'll continue using it, but I do like my Milk Makeup one more. Really quick, just in case anyone has any concerns if you didn't see my get ready with me using a bunch of this makeup, I personally don't have an issue with the fact that the rebrand of KVD Vegan Beauty still uses the original Kat Von D packaging, just because I feel like it would be incredibly wasteful to totally just get rid of everything and repackage everything else. I'm someone who tries to be as kind to the environment as possible, so it doesn't really bother me. I'm sure over time, as things run out, they will start bringing out new packaging. Of course, if a long time goes by and the packaging is still the same, I might rethink things a bit because that's kind of ridiculous. But for the meantime, as they're kind of rebranding and restarting again, I don't mind that they're trying to kind of keep using their old stuff, if that makes sense. Next, they sent me the Shade Light Contour Palette. I used to love this back in the day, and I was super excited to have it again, and I'm really liking it as well. I don't contour very often. It's just not that step I tend to take in my makeup routine, but on the days I'm feeling it, this one is working really nicely. I did switch out the peach shade for a white one because they did send me a couple refills as well. I can't remember what the shade is. It might be vanilla. I switched it out just because it suits my skin tone better than that peach. The peach was a bit too dark for me, but everything else is the same. I'm really liking it. The formula blends good. I like the pigmentation where they're not overly pigmented, but they're pigmented enough that they show up nicely. I like the highlighty shades. Again, not really something I reach for very often because I don't need excessive powders all over the place, but I am liking this on the days I'm feeling a little extra spicy. They sent me, I think, 6 refills total. I did put 3 aside because they're way too deep for my skin tone and I wouldn't get use out of them, so I put them aside to give away eventually. But the 2 that I did keep, aside from that vanilla one that I showed you earlier, is Suede and Taupe. Suede just appears to be a nice kind of warmer cool tone kind of color, like slightly more neutral than just straight up cool tone. And then Taupe, of course, is just a very cool tone color. This will be great for very dramatic shadowed looks. Probably not by itself. I'll probably mix it with some of the other things, but I felt like I might get use out of these shades, so that's why I kept them. Next, I have the Go Big or Go Home mascara. I'm gonna say pretty much the exact same things I said about the Pixi one. It makes my lashes look separated. They're very black and it doesn't transfer, so I'm good with it. I like the size of the wand. I like the packaging. I'm cool with it. Next, I got sent 2 of the tattoo liners. I used to use the tattoo liner in Trooper so much back in the day, but I ended up switching to something else just because I did notice on days that I might sweat a little bit more or my eyes would get irritated. This would transfer a little bit and move around. Plus, the Trooper one isn't a matte black. It's a little bit more of a satin, which isn't my personal preference. I do prefer more of a matte, but I have picked this up again. I think it's lovely. Again, not my favorite liquid liner. I only like to use this for short term when I know I'm not going to be doing anything that would cause my eyes to water, but I like it. I like the way the brush tip works. I think it's nice. They also sent Mad Max Brown, and I've actually been using this one a lot more than the black one or any black one. It's not super brown. It's more like a very dark espresso, almost black. But it's really cute, and I do find this one to be a little bit more mattifying than the black one. I don't know why that is, because this is also advertised as a satin finish. I don't know, but I do like it. Also in the same shades, they sent me their cake pencils. I have the black one in Trooper and the brown one in Mad Max Brown. These are really nice for kind of smudging in your waterline and kind of using a brush to blend it out and get a really nice smudgy effect. I've been reaching for both of these a lot. I almost always use this black one to tightline my upper waterline to help my lashes blend in, and I've been using the brown one a lot. I'm wearing it in my lower lash line right now. I think it's really nice. I've been reaching for these more than I thought I would. I didn't think I would care that much about them. They also sent over this angled brush. It seems to work nicely. I've been using it with the Super Brow pomades that I will talk about in a little bit. It seems like a solid brush. Next, they sent over 3 of their lip liners. I have the shades Hawkwind, Lolita 2, and Outlaw. I'm not a huge lip liner person. It's just rarely, very rarely the step I take. I've only used Hawkwind so far, but I really liked it. The formula was creamy. It spread nicely on my lips. I liked the effect of pairing this one with a light neutral color. I thought it was a nice contrast. I decided just to keep all 3 of these around just because I really don't have many lip liners, so I figured these 3 would be nice little staples to have on the days that I just really feel like I need a lip liner. These ones might do the trick for me. Next, I have some liquid lipsticks to talk about. Whenever it was Kat Von D's brand back in the day, like just her, and I used her stuff before all the craziness came out, I used to use these and I either loved them or hated them. It totally depended on the shade. I found that the more neutral shades behaved really well, and things that were very dark or a little more on the funky side tended to not be so great. But I was excited to revisit them and try them again. I got the shades Bow and Arrow, Echo, Lolita, Lolita 2, Hawkwind, Outlaw, and Plath. Bow and Arrow is a super cute light neutral. I've worn this quite a few times now and I like the way it looks and it feels nice on the lips. I'm not a huge matte liquid lipstick person anymore. I know I'm wearing one right now, but it was for the purpose of showing it to you on camera. But for the most part, I'm a gloss or creamy kind of person. But I do reach for a liquid lipstick once in a while, and these ones seem to be okay so far. Echo is a really cute blue. I'll be honest, I haven't worn this on my lips yet because I just haven't had a good reason to, but I'm excited to try this one out, but I am nervous that that one's gonna feel crumbly. Lolita and Lolita 2 were staples back in the day, and I honestly forgot how beautiful they are. I feel like they were hyped up for good reason. They're honestly nothing that special. They're just kind of neutrally pinky kind of tones. Lolita's a little more mauve-y and the Lolita 2 is a little more terracotta-y. They honestly are both really pretty and I like the way they look on my lips. I'm happy to have them in my possession again. Next, I have the shade Mother. This is a mini because it came in a set. Within this package, there was a little set that included this, a tattoo liner, and a mascara, I believe. So I have doubles of a couple of things. I threw some things in a future giveaway box. But Mother is a really cute pink. I haven't worn this one yet, but I did have this one back in the day and I do remember really enjoying that color. I'm just not so much of a pink person anymore, but I did want to keep this one around to see if I still liked it on myself. I'll get around to wearing it one day. Outlaw is a really brilliant red. I actually loved this back in the day. For a while there, this was my #1 favorite red, so I'm excited to have this one. And this last one is Plath. I'd never had this one. I'm wearing it right now, and I can tell you right this second, this is going to become a favorite lipstick of mine. This is such a beautiful color. I've worn it maybe 4 or 5 times since I got it now, and I can't get enough of it. I think it's so beautiful, perfect for this time of year. It's that nice grungy rusty brown. I freaking love it. That's gonna be a favorite for sure. And finally, we have some of these super brow pomades to talk about. I think I got sent like 5 more than the ones that I kept, but there were certain ones that I just knew wouldn't suit me, like Auburn and things like that. So I did save some of those for a future giveaway, but these are the ones I decided to keep. I did keep a lot of them, and I'll get into why. Hopefully I can list these off in the order that I filmed the swatches of. If not, I'll try to describe them to the best of my ability. This first one is Bleach. I haven't used this one yet because I'm scared, but I really want to see what a bleached brow would look like on me, and I thought this would be a really fun pomade to use for that, so maybe I'll use it in a get ready with me one day. We'll see if I get brave enough. Next, I have light brown and medium brown. These are the 2 that I've been using in my brows. I have medium brown, I believe, in today. They're not too different, but one is a little bit lighter than the other. I like these. I used to use medium brown back in the day, actually, so it was cool to have it again. I do like this formula. It's waterproof. It lasts all day. It does not move or smudge. These also are eye safe, so they work great as eyeliners as well. Next, we have Whiteout and Graphite. Whiteout is a white, obviously, and Graphite is a black. I've used Graphite as a liner, I believe, once or twice. I haven't used the white one just yet because I haven't just I just haven't. I don't have a good reason for you, but I'm excited to try it. I think this would make a really cool graphic just pop of liner in my like wing zone. I'm losing all of my words. There's so much information to give you right now. And finally, we're on the funky colors. I just have these in alphabetical order. Aubergine is this beautiful plummy wine color. I've used it as a winged liner a couple times now. Daffodil is a super bright, cute yellow that I have not yet used as a liner, but I definitely will at some point. Lemmy green is super cute, but it's funny because I wore this and a lot of people thought it was teal, but it's definitely like super green. It must just be the way the camera picked it up in that particular video, but yeah, this is a super pretty green. I really like it. Magenta is a super cute pink. I really like the tone of this. It's very fun, very party. I don't know. I like it. All of these seem to work nice as liners, so I'm happy to have all these colors. And it's nice because they dry down immediately. You don't have that messiness of a liquid liner kind of transferring everywhere. These are fun. Next, we have Roxy Purple that I also haven't worn yet, but I really want to because it's a lovely, lovely shade of purple. Actually, I haven't worn these last two either. We have Satellite Blue, which is a really pretty sky blue, and Scarlet, which is a bright, bright red. It's super, super pretty. This would almost be really cool in the brows as well. Even though I don't have red hair, I think it might just be a cool contrast, but I'm not one to do funky brows, so I doubt I'll get around to that, but I will use these as liners sometime. Okay, we are on just the last three brands. We are almost done with this. I hope you're still with me. I hope this isn't too boring. I'm trying to just roll through it so we can get through it. Next up, we have the newest collection from Oden's Eye. I love Oden's Eye. They have quickly become one of my favorite brands. I adore them. Their newest collection is the Alva 2 collection, which consists of a larger eyeshadow palette, 3 mini eyeshadow palettes, and a highlight palette. The Alva 2 highlight palette is absolutely stunning. I'm wearing it right now. I'm wearing the shade Gnome down here on my cheekbones. It's super pretty. Salamander is the prettiest highlight in the world though. It's so glitzy and reflective. It looks like wetness on the skin. It literally looks like a liquid highlight even though it's a powder. The blue and the purpley ones are so ethereal and fairy-like. I'm such a big fan of this palette. I love their Solmon highlight palette so, so much, and this is coming up there. I can't tell you which one's my favorite right now. Maybe still the Solmon palette because I've had it for longer, but this one is creeping up there. It's beautiful. I would honestly say if you're debating between both of them, just go with whichever color story speaks to you the most because I don't think you can go wrong either way. I do have a code with Oden's Eye, by the way. It's Beaute in all caps. It'll save you 10%, but it is an affiliate code. I will make a commission off of it. If you're not comfortable with that, please don't feel pressured. Next, we have the Alva 2 eyeshadow palette. This is the 16 pan palette, and it's super, super pretty. I love these bright tones. I feel like this was such a perfect addition to what they already had in their collection. I did already do a first impressions with this, and I am going to be working on a 3 looks 1 palette with this, so stay tuned for that. I know some of you really like those videos. They're not my most popular, but for those of you who like them, that is coming. And finally, we have the 3 mini palettes. I've already done a first impressions playing with all 3 of these like together. I did do a 3 looks 3 palettes featuring each individual palette, and I am doing Instagram videos with each one. I know that this one's already up, and I'm actually wearing the ocean right now. That's what this look is from, this IGTV video. So I just have to do it with the sky palette, and then I'll have all 3 of those up for you as well. The mini forest is the cutest little just green, gold, blue palette. I love this one. This is my favorite of the 3. I think it's so much fun to play with. The formula is beautiful. The shimmers are so glitzy and the mattes blend like a dream. The ocean palette is probably my least favorite of the bunch just for the sheer fact that there's only the one light matte blue. I think this one's my least favorite of the 3, but I don't dislike it. I still think it's a fabulous palette. The shimmers pop super nicely. That matte is a super cute shade of blue. Do wish there was one additional matte in here, but I also am happy with this. With this, I could always just reach into other palettes if I desperately need other matte shades. These shimmers are super pretty. The Starfish shade is kind of one of those sequin shadows. Again, not my favorite formula, but it is what it is. I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite. The shimmers make it worth it, honestly. For me, I love their shimmer formula. And finally, the Sky palette. This one is so cute and romantic. This one technically doesn't have mattes. It only has the 2 sequin shadows, but I just kind of act like they're mattes. I feel like enough of the sparkle does dust away that it's not a huge, huge deal. I just kind of make it work. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I just focus on the palette for what it is in this case. At least with this one versus Colourpop, I feel like Colourpop puts so much sparkle in their sequin shadows that it gets kind of messy and dusts around. This one, it still dusts away, but enough sticks around to where it looks ethereal. It's really hard for me to explain. Something about their sequin formula was done very right because I don't hate it as much as I do other palettes. Again, the shimmers in here are super pretty. I'm just really a fan of these palettes. I'm a fan of Oden's Eye. I like this collection a lot. It was such a fun summer collection. I'm so pumped to see what else they come out with. I hope they come out with something else this year. I have no clue if they are, but I really hope they do. One last thing from Colourpop, just this random package appeared at my door with 4 little mini So Juicy glosses. I only have 3 right here just because one of the 4 is princess cut and I have the full size of that, so I just tossed the mini in my future giveaway box. But these glosses included Small Talk, which is kind of this rosy mauvey pink color. She's Here, which is kind of a neutral pink. The Hype, which is a peachy kind of color, and Princess Cut, which is a clear. I like the So Juicy plumping glosses. I was happy to just have this random little package appear at my door because I like them, and I like that they're minis as well because I personally don't finish off things very often. And finally, the last product to talk about. I hope you are still with me. I got sent a package from Urban Decay, which included the original primer potion and the Stone Vibes palette. I'm actually really liking this eyeshadow primer. If I've used it in the past, it's been many, many years, so I'm just considering that I've never used this. I'm really liking it. I used it today. I've been using it the last few days. I still think I like my Smashbox lid primer a little bit more because it does have a tint to it. This one's a bit more clear, but overall I'm liking this primer. I think it's great. And finally, the Stone Vibes palette. The packaging is on another level. It's so pretty. It's just so glitzy and beautiful. I really like it. And the inside is just so much more fantastic than I thought it was going to be. I'm super happy it's not pressed glitters because that's what I first thought it was going to be when I initially saw pictures of this palette, but they're all just beautiful marbled dimensional shimmers. We do have the 3 mattes and 1 satin down here. This one is a bit more of a satin than a matte. But then we have just 8 lovely shimmers. I really like the way these perform. They're very glitzy and just transformative on the eyes. I did do a first impressions with this and I used it in that new makeup Get Ready With Me. I might do an Instagram video on this. I haven't decided if I'm going to yet or not, but I am really liking this. I don't really consider this a standalone palette. It's more of a companion palette to pair with other mattes in your collection. But if you're someone who just wants a good array of shimmers, this could be for you. It is quite pricey. It's like $54 or something like that, so pretty hefty for what it is, but I will say I was a lot more pleased with the insides than I thought I was going to be. Okay, that is it. I know this was a long video. Thank you if you stuck around. I really appreciate it. You guys seem to like these videos, so that's why I'm going to keep doing them. It takes a lot of energy to form my thoughts on this many products, but I enjoy doing it with you guys and just hearing about your thoughts as well. I would love to know if you've tried any of these things out. Are you interested in anything? Did you pass on certain things? Are you totally against certain things? I want to hear all of your thoughts down below. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a jack-o'-lantern emoji since I'm wearing lots of pumpkins today. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's Beaute and follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm posting most days here as well. Please make sure you're staying informed with Black Lives Matter. There's a link in my description box that will take you to resources and ways in which you can help. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.